welcome back to the channel. Now not too long ago I built this rack, very happy with it, slowly filling it up with setups. Now not too long ago I added these two aquariums, including this one for my Pelodiscus. And today I just wanted to do an update on the Pelodiscus, also tell you why I put this relatively small turtle as such a big setup, and yeah, just show you what I've done. Now, let's start with a quick explanation of the aquariums. There's two underneath here. I got this idea because I had the four for the raising the hatchlings on there. I liked the look, but I wanted it bigger, so that's why I put these two aquariums over here. Originally, I wanted to put snakes in here, but yeah, the turtles, I just really like them, so I decided to put two more aquariums over there. Now, while my inhabitants are feasting on some worms, I'll tell you a bit about these aquariums. They are 120 centimeters long, 60 centimeters deep and 30 centimeters high. And the biggest difference of these with my other setups for the turtles, that these are pretty much straight aquariums. And they don't have a land area with substrate as these have. Now normally that area will be used for the animals to hide and also to lay eggs, of course, but the purpose of these setups is mostly for separate males or to raise animals like the Pelodiscus that's still looking for more worms. Now the reason I decided to do this also is because I want to try to figure out a way that I can use this space for egg laying. So if I decide to put females in here or breeding pairs, whatever, I want to try to have a egg laying section in this area so they can use the ramp and lay the eggs somewhere in here in of course a box with substrate, or hang it partially in between here. And the reason is because I want to make optimum space of optimum use of the space of the aquarium, because a land area like that does take up quite an amount of space, and that means less living area or swimming area for my turtles. And that's what I want to prevent. And also, it really doesn't seem logical to me that a turtle needs to lay its eggs below or at the water level. So this is the water level, and in their natural habitat the animals will look for raised areas, sandy beaches or even hills where they can lay their eggs. But in here you can see the water level is pretty much the same or higher, and it doesn't seem logical. I don't know if it will affect the animals. There are some species that don't breed that well in captivity, or at least have a problem with laying their eggs, and I have a feeling this might be one of the problems. So that's what I'm gonna try and fix over here. We'll see how this works, and if it will work I would also try it with bigger setup, because I really think something like this will also help great with my Socalia and Platysternon. Another thing I've done is to start this concept out is what you can see. I made a dry dock over here that doesn't take up any space in the water, so the animals have extra surface area to get out of the water if they want. It's just some PVC pipes and some plastic mesh, plastic light mesh. As you can see, I hope this space is big enough so the animal doesn't, jump out. We're gonna see. But yeah, that's something I'm trying out. I have not seen the Pelodiscus use it yet, although I have seen it hanging in between and on this log a lot. Now you might think, why such a big aquarium for such a small little turtle? Well, when I got it in September, it used to be in this aquarium. That's only 30, 60, 30. Currently being used for some guppies and my mangrove. But when I got it in here, it's a very active turtle. So all it was doing was just moving from side to side, tick tock, tick tock, tick tick tick. But anyway, it was moving only from side to side, not really foraging. It didn't really have the opportunity to, and any decoration was just standing in the way. It wasn't really able to move freely in this setup. So it was obviously too small, and that's why I decided when I got these aquariums to put my Pelodiscus in here, and it's been using it a lot better since. Since I put my Pelodiscus in this setup, it's been a lot more active, or at least it was able to show its active natural behavior a lot more. Instead of from just moving from side to side, it's now constantly foraging. Not only when I'm feeding, I just threw in some worms, but also when I'm not feeding, it's pretty much active the whole day. And that's definitely one of the very fun things about these turtles. You know, turtles in general I really like, but this species is so active, always looking for food, and that's why I decided to put it in a relative, of course it's all relative, big setup for such a turtle, and I haven't had any regrets since. It does make me wonder how much space this species will need when it's a lot bigger. Of course I'm able to provide it for it, I already have some ideas, but that is something we want to think about when you might consider buying a turtle like this. This is only, what is it, 10 centimeters, 12 centimeters. It will get a shell length of 20-25 centimeters, and the neck will be just as long. So you can imagine in comparison how much space it needs and how much liters. As you can see now, the setup is pretty simple still. There's not a lot of decoration. I want to add more floating plants like I've already did, but also add a lot more submerged plants. As you can see, it's a very curious turtle, and in here it feels much more secure as it did in this setup. So that's very fun to see. Just constantly foraging, such a cool little turtle. There is some driftwood over here. There is a hide that it pretty much never uses, only when it's foraging. I still have the sandy area. I also need to add more, I think, simply because it doesn't affect me while cleaning. There's only one turtle in here, but also because it really likes to hide in this sand area as soon as it gets disturbed, and also at night when it's not active anymore, then it will hide in the sand. So this is a very big hide for this turtle. Definitely makes use of it. So again, really a sandy area, very important for these turtles. Now, although pretty much all the setups in my room are running on air filtration, I think it's very simple. Although I don't like the sound you can hear in the background, I decided to put a pretty strong filtration system in this one. This is a filtration system that's very easy to clean. I've been using it more and more for other setups. I really like it, but also to make sure there's plenty of flow and plenty of aeration, because clean water for these turtles is very important. So that's why I decided not to have just the air filtration, but really have strong movement in the water, and that will make sure that's highly aerated. It will go against bacterial growth. So that's why I decided to do that. I have tried to put one very ugly fish with this turtle, because as I mentioned in previous videos, I'm highly suspicious that this animal is blind, or at least the eyesight is very poor. It was this fish, by the way, another ugly one, the same as the turtle. Would have been fun, ugly turtle, ugly fish, but as we expected, it didn't work. The reason these albinos sometimes have compromised eyesight is because normally the melanin on the retina will protect it from bright lights. And because they lack this melanin, because they lack this, their eyes are not as protected. So either their retina gets pretty much blinded, so they get blinded because the light in comparison is much brighter, they are not protected against it, or their retina gets damaged permanently because of these bright lights, and that has impact on the eyesight. And you can really see it when I'm feeding it. You can see that it takes a long time to decide if it's food or not, and it does make it forage a lot longer, so that's a form of enrichment that's very easy for me. But it is something I want to mention to you guys, in case you ever think about an albino Pelodiscus. This one is here now, so I will keep it, but I would suggest taking just the normal type. They are just as fun, also very beautiful animals. So that is something I do like to add. And I have lights above the setup, and that's also the reason why there's this big log underneath the light, and also all these floating plants, which will obviously get more, they will grow and propagate. But the reason is because it creates shaded area for the animal. It can also hide in the shade over there and in the corner. As you can see, it's not covering the whole setup, only a part of the basking area and a part of the dry dock, and that way it can bask if it wants, getting more into out of the UV light. This is also the smallest percentage of UV that Arcadia provides, so there's a bit less UV in here as there is in this one. And again, the animal can get away from it, and although people say this animal does not need a drying area, it will make use of it. And I have also seen this albino, I only have cell phone footage of it, but I have seen this albino hanging, basking over there, temperature regulating in the shallows or completely on the drier areas. So this was pretty much the reason I mostly wanted to make this update, to just check upon the animal, tell you guys how much fun it is to keep it around. But there are some things you want to think about. As I mentioned in the first video, getting these turtles, do not combine them, keep them separate. And as you can see, they need a lot of space, but it's been doing great, it's been growing. I'm so happy these two new aquariums are here. I'm waiting on 2 more setups, and then I can finally show you the updated reptile room. It will be in a while, but yeah, that was pretty much it. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'm looking forward to the next one.